I do have one piece of information for Zapata. She and I have been talking a little bit about what's going on in Ripton and what isn't going on in Ripton. Zapata, we did get approval from the landlord for the location we want to put our hub. We have some more steps. We have to we have to get an easement signed, and then we have to get a building permit done. But to me and to Ellie, I think we both feel like the toughest part is behind us now. And I'm actually heading into Ripton probably tomorrow morning to hand off a building permit so we can get that accomplished as well. So feeling a little bit relieved about that. It's not done, but I think, yeah, anything that, there's other steps we have to do. And to what Ellie had mentioned, not only does she have to do a lot of planning here, but we also have a lot of materials. We haven't purchased any materials yet for any new construction. And then once we do that, we know from past experience back in 2020, 2021, if the bead gates open, then everybody's going to be ordering materials, and lead times could be a problem, which could also impact timing. So we'd love to be able to do building later this year, but we may be waiting in queue with a bunch of other big contractors, so we really don't know. There's just too many uncertainties there, but that's the good news. So that was we have tentatively all of our hub locations nailed down, so that's really great news. Anybody want to talk about anything else?
Oh, I just have one question, because you mentioned about construction materials and lead times. Just curious as to whether or not there's been any evaluation in regards to the proposed tariffs as it might influence supply chain for the various components that are utilized as part of these installs, and if so, are we trying to be a little more proactive in order to not be delayed in those processes?
Well, today it would be ill-advised for us to spend any money right now. I think what I'm waiting for Ellie. Ellie's got some work she has to do to kind of do that math and figure out what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how much is it going to cost, how many miles of cable do we need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that what we did learn in 2022 when we did our initial build, which was driven by the pandemic, lead times were a big problem. And we tried to preempt that by pre-purchasing materials. And I think if you were to ask Ellie or me, was that a good idea? I'd say, well, I wish we'd thought a little bit more about it. What we right now are doing is, I think we're going to be pre-purchasing very, very few materials. We relied on a trusted contractor, and we've already identified a trusted contractor as a result of the work we did back in 2021, 22, that will furnish the materials at a nominal markup that they share with us. And so what we're going to pre-purchase is cable, because it's more of the variable, and some other hardware items. It's going to be kind of token materials, necessary materials with token. And to be honest with you, I'm unaware of any means that we might pre-purchase anything until we really have the currency, have the money, the cash flow that we need to actually do that. It's not a lot of material, but it could delay us. So we're mindful of it, and we've been trial by fire back during the pandemic. So there's a lot of lessons learned that we're adopting right now.
Yeah, but just to answer that question on the tariffs more directly, most of the material, so there's one of the BEAD requirements is called Build America, Buy America, BABA for short. And so most of the high cost materials we need to buy are already subject to American manufacturing, and so wouldn't be subject to tariffs. I'm a little bit concerned about upstream things, as well as some of the smaller nuts, like things that are, like steel items like nuts and bolts and so on, that would come with contractors. But I think that part, hopefully it's less an availability issue and more a cost issue. Although who knows? I guess the recent changes in the last 24, 48 hours with the China tariffs going down might restart the shipping, which would be great, because we did obviously build contingency Okay, I'm not going to go into too much more detail other than to say that whenever we do our construction cost modeling, we always account for contingency and we take the externalities into account in so doing. So I think that's probably good enough for there. But yeah, but I think, I mean, to Steve's point, we want to make sure that whatever we pre-purchase is well thought through so that we're not wind up with extra materials, but we're also not months away from making these recommendations. We're weeks away.
We'll be busy. Hopefully we'll have a lot of fun stuff to talk about next month.
Yep.
All right, we're a little bit over time here, so does anybody want to talk about anything else? And if not, just a reminder, we did get good responses. We finally got Lincoln signed up just 2 days ago or something like that. So now we only have 3 towns that are not represented in our governing board. And as always, we would be much happier if we had a full 20 towns represented, because it really ensures the transparency that's necessary for what we're doing. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thanks. We got a second. Thanks all. See you in a month.
Bye, everyone.